Charles, you are the wind beneath my wings.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Oh, thank you. I am not the technical one here.
I know.
I freely admit that. You know, we come up with these ideas and you make them happen. Like, how did this come about?
Believe it or not, it's all because of Anchor. Anchor has the tools. It lets me record, edit, and distribute right from the computer. Sometimes I do it from my phone. It's just as easy either way.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're on like dozens of platforms, though.
It's true. Anchor makes it easy to distribute our podcast on platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and dozens more. It's everything we need, and it's all in one place. And you'll love this part. It's all completely free.
Oh, thank God.
Right? I use Anchor for pretty much every aspect of getting our show out there and into the listeners' ears.
That's amazing.
It is. And if you, dear listeners, want to get into the podcasting game, you just need to download the Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started.
Maybe Anchor's the wind beneath my wings.
Hey!
Coming to you from the dining room table at East Barbary Lane, welcome to another episode of Full Circle, the podcast. A weekly visit to our home where we squeeze a few headlines through our decidedly queer lens and see what happens. This episode is brought to you by Decanted Jug Wine and protecting little white children everywhere.
Okay. I am your host, Charles Tyson Jr.
And I'm your host, Martha Madrigal. Welcome to the Full Circle table.
In this episode, we talk about good black news in Philly.
Questlove doing the shit, man. Oh my God.
Exactly. A strange loop brings another first.
First openly transgender performer to be nominated for a Tony Award.
Yep. We discuss the tragedy in Buffalo. There's so many horrifying details about this. Kendrick Lamar's Clumsy Allyship came close to making a really good point. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Whew. And more.
Hey. I'm just... You know... They're cutting grass near here. It's the fucking suburbs. So, you know, trying to find a time when there's not a lawnmower going is a challenge in daylight.
Yeah, it's going to get worse as the weather gets warmer.
It will. So if that's in the background, we apologize. But we don't have any more time today. Right. We got to get started.
Yeah.
Because it's already Monday morning. Yeah. And this episode will release tomorrow, Tuesday.
You say that with such conviction.
Well, you know, come hell or high water. Good things are happening for us.
Yeah.
You know, even as we have our struggles.
Well, for one thing, I did get to see the Tori Amos show.
You did. Yes, you did.
And it was beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Good. I'm so glad.
So lovely. And best stage lighting I think I've ever seen. It was just beautiful.
You and all the white people and all the lesbians we know. Everybody was there.
Yeah, Lisa and I, we played our usual game when we go to shows like this. Count the black people. We made it to 5.
There you go.
5.
Well, there you go. And that included both of you.
Oh, of course it did.
Right. So there were
We're always 1 and 2.
There were 3 others. Yeah, well, because I was parked to pick you both up at the main entrance, and there was just all these white people pouring out of the theater. I didn't know. Pouring out of the theater, and I asked you if there was a colored exit somewhere that I should be stationed at because I didn't see y'all.
And I said,
and you did come from the side, not that main door, but you know, whatever.
Well, I said there were only 5 of us. That's not enough to warrant a whole exit.
We didn't get a whole exit.
But I did get a lesson in not judging a book by its cover.
Okay.
Because seated in the row ahead of us, there was a young couple, a young black guy and a young white girl. And, you know, we're sitting there like, oh, it's so cute. She took her boyfriend to see Tori Amos. And halfway through the show, we realized, no. And he took her.
Wait, what?
He was the fan.
Okay.
He was the fan.
Wow.
And then afterwards, you know, she closed the encore with my favorite song, Precious Things, and he was like, that was amazing. She didn't do Crucify, but it was still an amazing
Lord.
show. I'm
Lord.
like, see, this is what I get. I should have known.
I don't know her music well at all. I really don't. I just know I lived Crucify with my mother for 52 years, and that's enough for me.
Well, it's funny because
So.
I asked Lisa, I was like, is all the music that we enjoyed so much in our 20s
Angsty?
like that fucking sad?
Yep.
And apparently so. But we were coming up in the 90s, so that's what you got. You got sad music, whether it was pop or rock or whatever. It was sad.
It was. even y'all's fashion choices were just sad. Just baggy flannel shirts and hide our bodies and put our heads down. I don't know. But,
you realize what I'm wearing right now, right?
I do. I do. Yeah, I'm glad you two made it into your 40s, because with music like that, that was a challenge.
But no, it was a fabulous show.
Good.
I'm so glad I went.
Yeah, I am too. It's been a good week. Your immersion in the arts continues.
Oh yeah, I was in the theater all weekend doing lights and sound for some ballerinas.
The Pennsylvania Academy Ballet.
Yes.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah.
You're at the Performance Garage now as the technical supervisor, so that's a cool thing.
I got a title and
oh,
shit.
Thank God for money and union wages.
Right.
Thank God. So that's a something.
That's a
something. And good. And I'm trying to think what else. I mean, bad shit happened in the news. We'll get to it. Yeah, it's fuck. But yeah, what else happened? It was a busy week. We were like, Ruby C got her workout this week, our little red Civic.
Yeah.
We were everywhere.
Yeah, we went hither and yon.
I felt like we were in
back again.
Philadelphia more than we were in New Jersey this week.
We were.
Yeah, I think so.
You're welcome.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I got
city
another
of brotherly love and sisterly affection, and we love our city.
We do. And we're gonna be there
fuckery aside
3 days because I have another gig. I'm doing lighting and sound for another recital because it's the season. It is the season for recital.
This is true. This is true. It's the season, and let's take advantage of it because we need the money.
Word.
And this is a good time to thank everyone who has sent a little financial support our way via the podcast. Please consider doing that. Every little bit does help. Allie thanks you because that food's expensive. You are keeping a decrepit Pomeranian alive and healthy.
You can support our podcast by clicking support this podcast on our website. Visit our link tree and you can see how you can support Full Circle, the podcast.
Yes, please.
We love being here for you guys.
We do. This is fun.
And always
we do have fun.
You can like and subscribe and follow us on all of our social and rate us and review us and give us 5 stars and candy and money and tell us we're beautiful.
Yes, please. I love all of that.
Exactly.
All of that makes me smile. I'm smizing right now. Smizing.
All right.
Which is a skill I picked back up when we were mask wearing.
Right. Yeah, it's true. That's the thing about wearing masks, I realized.
And we still are, and you are in the theater, and thank God for it because
I can make faces that I'm not aware of sometimes.
With large events, we're so all or nothing in this country. I swear to God. And, it's still not a bad idea to wear a mask when you're in a large public space with a lot of people. It's still a good idea.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of friends down, thankfully fully vaccinated, down with COVID though this past week.
Yeah.
Because there was a large event and they were unmasked.
Yeah.
So
when I was in the tech booth, I'm in the tech booth,
yourselves.
I don't have my mask on, but if I have to leave the booth to do anything, I put that bad boy back on.
Yeah, and good. And and the Tori Amos concert, same thing, same deal. And, it's just good. It's smart.
Yeah, luckily where we were sitting, there was literally no one immediately in front of, behind us, or on either side of us. We were like in this little bubble of space. I was like, all right, cool.
Well, yeah. And remember, during the height of the pandemic and lockdown and mask wearing everywhere, nobody had colds or the flu. Like, we didn't have a flu season. So,
I know.
Plus we were all inside and not seeing each other, but still not bad practice. Not bad practice, because we've had a couple friends with meh.
Yeah.
And allergies are bad enough, and it's allergies. I think it's probably in my voice right now. I spent a huge chunk of yesterday out on the patio writing, and then we had dinner out there, and we stayed out there until it was pitch dark and getting chilly, because the weather was so perfect.
It really was.
Yesterday and last night, and I was here by myself, so I made good use of my time. But now, there's pollen
all up and
throughout my sinuses. Yeah,
me too.
I did a little nasal wash and everything this morning, but I think it's just there in my voice right now. So, it's allergies, folks. That's what it is.
Patti LuPone had to come for the audience during talkback during Company on Broadway, because apparently there were members in the audience that either didn't have their mask on or weren't wearing them properly.
Somehow we knew that they were, I guess, anti-maskers or something. Somehow. Maybe they just weren't wearing them and they were supposed to.
Right. And she read the fuck out of that.
I'll bet she did.
Who the fuck do you think you are? The reason why we're able to be in the theater is because of the mask mandate. And how are you going to put us in danger? And and the chick in the audience was like, "We pay your salary."
I know.
And she was like, "Bullshit. The producer pays my salary."
You know who the last person is you want to say shit like that to?
Patti LuPone. That's right. Because she will come for that ass. If you have your phone out, she's going to come for you. She will stop singing. Mm-hmm. She will break character and stop singing to tell you about yourself.
She really will. Yeah. She's just, she's tired.
And people were like trying
I don't blame her.
People were trying to be shitty about it on Twitter, like talking about, well, the people on stage weren't wearing masks, so why did the audience? Because they're all regularly tested, they're all vaccinated,
and they're trying to give you a performance without masks. So you have the full effect of what you did pay for. Put your fucking mask on,
right?
Or stay out of live theater right now,
right?
And if it's so egregious to you.
And what I said was, I tried to be logical with these ass hats.
Oh,
I'm
please.
like,
you can't.
There's hundreds of people seated together, all facing the same direction toward the stage. And if the show does what it's supposed to, you'll be prompted to laugh or, cheer. And so that's like a germ cannon pointed.
It really is pointed at the stage.
Wear your fucking mask. It's fucking logic.
Yeah, I mean, we have a friend touring in a Broadway show who's out of the show right now for COVID.
See,
because it happens, because they leave the stage and whatever. But it sucks. That sucks. And thank God, polio was never politicized. Thank God. That everybody just went, yeah, hey, there's a vaccine now. Let's go get it. Let's make this better. Thank God. Like, because folks have lost their fucking minds.
They really, really have. Anyway.
So we missed something. So we were talking about the Tony Awards last week. And
yes,
you brought it up, and I did no research. I'm just going to admit that. But we missed L. Morgan Lee.
Yes.
Who is nominated. She is a Black trans woman in a principal role on a Broadway stage in A Strange Loop. Strange Loop.
Which I really want to see.
This is so cool. She has made theater history just by being nominated. Production officials are describing her as the first openly transgender performer to be nominated for a Tony Award as a featured actress in A Strange Loop. This is awesome. Yeah. Representation is awesome.
And apparently she transitioned during the development of the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Another COVID baby.
Right?
So another trans COVID baby. Welcome.
She made her premiere in a bunch of ways.
Welcome.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, the musical itself got 11 nominations.
Mm-hmm.
And it just opened April 26th.
Yeah, it's the most nominated show this year.
Yeah. A meta work about a Black gay writer trying to make art while being distracted by his intrusive thoughts.
Yes.
Lee plays one of those thoughts. Thought 1.
Yeah, there's thought 1, thought 2, thought 3. It's so cool. Yeah, I was looking at...
She is making her Broadway debut, by the way. Work.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Broadway debut.
I was looking at the photos that came out of all the Tony nominees, and everyone looked so cute. I saw Camille. I didn't see Bill T. Jones's picture, though. He wasn't. But there was a whole lot of... Uzo Aduba nominated.
Nice.
Yeah.
God, I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a quote. I know of many trans and non-binary and gender expansive people who are out here trying to be seen and trying to put stories out in the world. Having this happen today helps more people know that it's possible. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So many, many snaps. That's great. This is the stuff that's also happening in this world where, they want to erase us and they want to put us back in our place and tell us who we are and who we aren't. This is also happening. Mm-hmm. So, yay us.
Yeah. Now, and she's not the first out trans woman to be on Broadway. I think that distinction...
No, nominations. The nomination.
That distinction went to Peppermint in Head Over Heels.
Okay.
But yes, the first nomination. That's fabulous.
Right. And as we talked about before, the touring company, the Broadway touring company of Oklahoma includes 2 trans principal actors.
Yes.
Sis, known from season 3 of Pose.
Yes.
And Hennessy Winkler.
Yes.
Trans man, both in, principal roles. So, go us.
Exactly.
Go us.
Go y'all.
So where else are we? Questlove.
Yeah,
let's talk about this.
This made me smile. So Questlove has launched a fully funded PhD scholarship program for Philly creatives.
How exciting.
Through the University of the Arts.
Love it.
Yeah, and it's basically, your focus of study has to be related to the field of creativity.
Okay.
And Questlove wrote a book about creativity that's actually being taught in the University of the Arts. How cool is that?
Questlove doing the shit, man. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Summer of Love. Oof.
I know. That was so good.
Yeah, it's so good. If you haven't seen it yet, it is still available, I believe, on Hulu. And, talked about a really important time in history that none of us knew about.
But yeah, it's a fully funded 3-year program in the PhD program of creativity, and it begins in June of 2022. And the first recipient is James Brandon Lewis, who is an acclaimed saxophonist, composer, and writer. And he's from Brooklyn. So we got a Brooklynite getting a scholarship from a Philadelphian.
Hey, all God's children.
Exactly.
Love it. Love it. He's amazing.
It's true.
So I have preempted your 15-minute fave. I'm just doing that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
No, it's fine. I didn't have one this week anyway.
Oh, good. Well, then this works out.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the hideous shooting in Buffalo over the weekend.
Yes.
At a supermarket in Buffalo, targeting African Americans.
Yes.
This is just, where I am, and our hearts go out to Buffalo and to the families who are grieving. Before we play this, I want to read the names. It's a tradition, certainly in our community. Every time we have had the absolute honor of being in the presence of the quilt in Philadelphia, we've read names. Those no longer with us are Celestine Cheney, 65, of Buffalo. Roberta A. Drury, 32, of Buffalo. Andre McNeil, 53, of Auburn. Catherine Massey, 72, of Buffalo. Margus D. Morrison, 52, of Buffalo. Hayward Patterson, 67, of Buffalo. Aaron Salter, 55, of Lockport. Geraldine Talley, 62, of Buffalo. Ruth Whitfield, 86, of Buffalo. Pearl Young, 77, of Buffalo. And those injured, and we are sending you all light and good thought. Christopher Braden, 55, of Lackawanna. Zaire Goodman, 20, of Buffalo. And Jennifer Warrington, 50, of Tonawanda. This is Melinda Doolittle.
March on till victory is won.
Every voice means every voice. We'll be right back.
Let's talk about Newsly. Newsly is an audio app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time in the history of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling, start listening. You can literally follow any topic as specific as you like, from sports, science, to Bitcoin, the latest in queer news, or even the Kardashians. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud. And they have podcasts as well, including ours, Full Circle the Podcast with Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. I started using it as my default podcast app, and it's pretty cool. Download and use Newsly for free today from www.newsly.me, or follow the link we posted in the description of this episode and use promo code FULLCIRCLE with the numeral 1 replacing the I. That's Full Circle to receive a free 1-month premium subscription.
And we're back.
We're back.
You know, say their names. Say their names.
names.
It's important.
So,
It's important. So let's get to this story because
as I'm sure many of you know, on Saturday, an 18-year-old white man drove to Buffalo, dressed in tactical gear, armed with an assault weapon, and a camera on his helmet, and live streamed him going into a supermarket in a predominantly black neighborhood.
we're not going to say his name, by the way.
No. And opened fire and murdered a lot of people and injured several more.
10 dead and 3 hospitalized right now.
Yes. And it's just horrifying and devastating that this happened. And apparently he wrote a 180-page manifesto that was full of racism and anti-Semitism, to no surprise to anyone. And
this was a premeditated hate crime.
Definitely. He live streamed the event.
Yeah, he went into a traditionally black neighborhood, understanding who his targets were.
Yep.
And this is murder one, and it should, certainly have the hate crime statute attached.
Definitely.
That's what this is.
And there's so many horrifying details about this. First of all, of course, being the murders, but the live streaming was especially chilling for me. And it's like you wanted to make sure that everyone saw you commit this heinous act. Mm-hmm. And I can't help but think about this being a product of, you're nothing unless you're famous in this country. And that word fame has really no meaning anymore. That's why, we don't even want to say his name, because he does not deserve the fame that he sought.
You know what? I want to connect some dots. This thing that has been building, and the ugly that got light and air in 2016 when what's his face was elected. All of this is connected, and all of this breeds children, and he's a child. 18. I mean, this is a man. He should be tried as an adult. Let's not get that twisted. But his brain isn't even fully developed yet. Right. But when we reach into schools and we do our best to protect the ideal of a little cishet white child, this is what we get. Yeah. This is the product of that. Mm-hmm. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. Mm-hmm. As, fear is being bred by, this underbelly of the extreme right wing, that, what do they call it? The white genocide or some bullshit.
Yeah, that was one of his.
They're the ones killing people.
Points.
Yeah, but okay.
When did white people stop fucking?
I don't know. I mean, they do, quite a bit of family planning in this dystopia. And if you really want to encourage white people to have babies, I don't know, let's create, universal family leave. Let's create paid family leave. Let's expand universal health care to make sure that if the baby is conceived, they're going to have health. The mother is going to have health care. Let's create a society where, more is supported. We know how to limit abortion. It just through common sense. We know how to do that. But, there was, good Lord, I read years ago, and maybe I'll pull up the article and write about it. But, there was a direct correlation between Roe coming into law and crime 18 to 20 years later.
Right.
It's almost like when we don't have unwanted, unsupervised children roaming the streets, crime goes down. Yeah, it's almost like that. And there is a correlation between Roe, between all of this nonsense about critical race theory, and the all-out assault in schools, burning books, the assault on trans children in particular, but more broadly, as we're seeing in Florida, the entire queer community. They, this dystopian bullshit that's happening to protect the minds of little white children and not expose them to the rest of the fucking world.
Yep.
Causes this.
Yep.
It feeds it. It says it's okay to not understand that you share this planet with people who don't look like you, don't think like you, and don't worship like you. And that can still all be okay. We can all get along, because by and large, the people you're told to fear are the ones who want peace the most.
Yeah. This constant othering is what breeds this kind of behavior.
But if we can all put all of these things together and look at them all as the string they're all tied to, we can put a stop to it. We do have midterms coming up. You know, I am often disenchanted by my Democratic Party. And, you know, I can talk to you at length about the things we need to do to keep them in check. And, you know, I'm all about, let's create a third and a fourth and a fifth party with viability. You know, it's happening in Philadelphia. Philadelphia there's a Democratic stronghold. The party often makes decisions I do not agree with.
Right.
And, you know, they think that they have this monarchy and they will appoint who they want to see represent us. They do that. They do. It's the truth. So now we have the Working Families Party. Now we have two people on city council in Philadelphia who came out of that outgrowth of, you know, progressivism, you know, a break from the party, and they're winning.
Yeah.
So it is possible, and that's how you do it. That's what Republicans figured out when they started taking over school boards and state legislatures and all the other nonsense and all the other infiltration and going after the courts. And this is where it lands. And we knew this in 2016.
Yep.
We knew how important that election was. Everyone who was a minority of any stripe knew that. Women should have known it better. But, you know, that's another conversation. The fact that there was ever a woman, a woman who voted for Trump is beyond me. Beyond me. Queer folks the same way. And I've told them to their face. And for every progressive that went for Jill Stein, we talked about that last week. So here we are with yet another mass shooting. Here we are with yet another white male whose brain is not fully formed, having weaponry at their disposal, and we have a bunch of, you know, peaceful people dead. And now we have a bunch of grieving families.
Fucking grocery shopping.
We have lives interrupted. You know, there is a piece in the Washington Post detailing, at least I believe it's 6 of the lives of those who have died, and, you know, who they were and who they are to their families and their community, and they're gone. They were here Friday, and they are gone today.
They left the house
at the hands
to go grocery shopping
of yet another radical terrorist, American-born and bred, white terrorist.
That part.
So if we can all string all of these things together, and we can find a way to stand together, right now what we need to do is put a lot more Democrats in the Senate. Right now, what we need to do is make sure that the Democrats do hold the House of Representatives, because a federal law, could stop this Roe bullshit in its tracks. You know, as states have done. You know, our state of New Jersey has protected the right to an abortion. Other states have as well. But it doesn't need to be state by state. There could be federal law. There could be. You know, because right now, the Supreme Court, right now, as it stands, they're a political body. They are activist judges, make no mistake about it. And they were installed to do exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is it horrifying? You bet your ass it is. Did we see this all in 2016? You bet your ass we did.
Yep.
I mean, it's, am I disgusted beyond words? Yes. Am I surprised?
No.
No, I was sounding the alarm in 2016. I lost a lot of white friends, particularly in the business community, who told me that I needed to keep politics out of business. And I said, sweetheart, politics, my life is infused with politics. Charles' life is infused with politics, and he won't stop being black.
Right, but thank you, straight white man, for your opinion.
Well, in this case, it was also straight white women. But yeah, and we haven't seen it. And they all, and when, you know, when
the point is unchanged.
When I said, you know, we live our politics, and when I said these are the things I'm afraid of, you know, pretty much to the person, they said, but we have your back. If that actually happens, we have your back. You know, if the queer community is under assault, we have your back. I haven't spoken to not one of them, not a peep, since 2016. And they stopped coming into our bar and supporting our business. And fuck them.
Yeah. Where are they at now?
Yeah. I mean, I take no joy from being correct in everything I said in 2016.
Yeah.
You know, 2016 is when I cried a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And that's when, you know, our friend Thais took me in her arms and said, "Oh, honey, your people still surprise you."
Yep.
I went, oh.
That was a lot of black people watching white folks like freak the fuck out.
Yeah, you surprise yourselves. This is what you do. That was the message I was told, and I was like, yeah, this is what we do, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You know, I really, you know, and that isn't white guilt. Because I don't walk around with white guilt. Like, that was not a thing that was ever installed. It's just, you know, I showed up in skin just like everybody else showed up in skin, and we didn't choose what color it was going to be.
Right.
Although my people do spend a ridiculous amount of time in the sun trying to look like y'all, but you know, that's a separate topic.
Until they start hearing sirens and they go inside.
Yeah, all of this shit is connected, and it's all chilling. And, you know, white people need to get a lot smarter. You should only need to be told once that critical race theory is a buzz term installed by a Republican in a quote unquote think tank who is still busy slapping himself on the back because it's been so successful, because you all are intentionally stupid. You know, I had a really good conversation with one of our trans babies this Saturday while you were working, and we sat on the front porch, and, you know, we talked about the way that we were raised. She is also white and from South Jersey. And, you know, coming against not just transphobia, but a whole lot of racism, you know, from the people we grew up around and with. And I said, you know, we were raised by polite white people who don't want to be in the conversation, who say, "Oh, I don't follow politics." Mm-hmm. They're the ones who say, "We don't talk about politics or religion." You know, they're the ones who say that's impolite. In the same way it's impolite to talk about money. Mm-hmm. It's what Disney tried to do in Florida, which was sit on the fence and claim this neutrality as their employees, and the folks that they are targeting for our dollars are being terrorized by the governor of Florida.
Right.
And they thought, maybe we can sit here on this rail and not say anything and not do anything. And they actually, that's a corporation that within that state had the power to squash it all. If they'd have started early and hard, they'd have shut his mouth.
Yep.
I believe that. I do. Or if anyone could shut his mouth, they could have. Maybe they wouldn't have been successful, but they didn't fucking try. They came in after the fact. They came in after the momentum. And there is nothing more dangerous than a white man swinging his dick around, which is what we have now. And clear, it's not that there's a lot to swing, but
I wasn't even gonna go there.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we have this, and those days are born of institutional racism, friends. Those days are over if you don't want fascism in America.
Right.
That's, you know, it really comes down to that. And it really comes down to, you know, if you take all of the marginalized people in this country and you put us all together, we win. Mm-hmm. And white liberals are the worst. Truly. If you want to talk to me about your principles in voting, right now let's talk about the principle of saving democracy.
Right.
And then we can continue every other conversation. And those are grassroots efforts. We have to do something on a federal level in a big way to beat this back. And mark my words, if we pick up Senate seats, if we pick up enough Senate seats to neutralize the two fucking blue dog Democrats who are holding us hostage, and they finally say enough is enough and forget about the filibuster, we can add 4 justices to the Supreme Court. We can do that. That can be done. President Biden can do that. He can balance this activist court and then watch a few of them retire. So, you know, you want to talk about packing courts? It's possible.
Right.
It's possible, but we need more Democrats right now. If you care a lick, and if you're listening, I assume you do, about trans people and queer people and black people and all the other people in this world that aren't straight and white and cis, then that's what you got to do, folks. Make sure you're registered. Make sure everyone you know, make sure all of the young people who will be 18 on election day are registered to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, check out the rules in your state because, New Jersey as well as Pennsylvania are closed primary states. So the only way they can have a voice in a primary is to choose a party. I tried to be an independent for many years. I couldn't vote in primaries.
Right, yeah.
In either state, where I've lived, I couldn't vote in primaries. So I went, fuck it. And I think, 2000 made me go back and register as a Democrat because I'm like, I'm never, ever voting for another Republican again. Not after what that Supreme Court installed.
Right.
And that brought us war and everything that was the Bush years. Yeah. Where
my art got good, but.
Well, right. Yeah, but there was no funding for it. Well, yeah. Moving along. I mean, it's that simple. Yeah. It really is that simple. It's not complicated right now. I implore you to, if you have been a polite white who didn't want to be involved, now's the time to get involved. If you give a shit about any of us, don't tell me about your black friend and vote for a Republican. Don't tell me about your trans friend or your gay friend and vote for a fucking Republican. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Because no, you don't.
How about don't tell me, show me? How about that?
How about that? Let's take the decimation of Roe v. Wade. And again, make no mistakes, the founding principle, the principles, the logic with which that was decided also informed gay marriage, also informed the right to contraception, also informed, getting rid of sodomy laws and saying what you do in your bedroom and with whom is up to you. All of these things and gay marriage, folks, all hinge on the same logic. And if you think they're not coming for those things next, think again because they've already talked about it.
Yep.
They've already talked about it. And their minions out here and those who support them financially and those who installed them to begin with, including Ginny fucking Thomas. Oh, they have a plan. They have a plan. And this is, St. Reagan unleashed it back in the 80s when he let the religionists gave them a seat at the table.
Yep.
All of politics, there are fringes. There are fringe folks. I'm sure I'm probably one of them, but over here on the left, at least I've been told I am. I don't actually see it. I'm much more of a pragmatist, but whatever. But we didn't let religion in. They did in the 50s, and we had McCarthyism, and we added under God. But it wasn't there before.
Right.
And it doesn't belong there.
Right.
It doesn't belong there. Your personal relationship with whatever deity you may believe in or don't has nothing to do with governing a diverse populace. Nothing at all. Doesn't belong here. Does not belong in government. Because which one? Clearly they want Christianity.
Right.
But that ain't we all are not Christians. And, we need the same fundamental rights for everyone. Governing is hard, and Republicans don't even fucking want to govern. They've been trying to blow up government, and they've been trying to install religion, and they have no interest in the job. So why do we keep giving it to them? Beyond the fact that they've gerrymandered, themselves. But that's only the House. That's not the Senate. Senate races are statewide races. You cannot gerrymander a Senate race. You can make it ridiculously hard for people to vote, and they're doing that too.
Yep.
And it was the Supreme Court who took away the Voting Rights Act at a point in time where we still needed it and still need it today because of all the nonsense that is happening. Because some people are indeed demonic, but they're not the ones being accused of it. They're the Christianists. They're the religionists who think that they belong in politics. They don't.
And I just want to point out the whole thing about taking one dominant religion and putting it over everyone and everything and trying to, punish you if you do anything to deviate from that. You know, that's some slave master shit. Like that's exactly.
Well, and it's also, the principle that's written, no, it doesn't say, it doesn't talk about the separation of church and state, but it does talk about there will not be a government sanctioned religion like the Church of England.
Right.
That there won't be.
Right.
That's the point. And there shouldn't be.
We fought a whole war over this shit.
Fucking colonizers.
Exactly.
Let's move along to another colonizer with too much to say who doesn't know what the fuck.
Are you talking about Tucker Carlson?
Yeah, of course I am.
Tuckums.
Yes, yes.
Lil Tuckums.
Yes, he is big mad yet again and insisting Karine Jean-Pierre's qualification is being a black lesbian.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Why do I get the
And
feeling...
he said, by the way, Jen Psaki doesn't know what LGBTQ stands for.
First of all, he never he has no basis for saying that. And
why is this man rich?
Exactly.
Why does this man have a platform? And why are we doing this shit for free when that fucking asshole is $1 million? Like, I don't even get it.
Exactly.
I'm tired.
He just says some dumb shit. If you told me that on his off time he goes to someone's basement dungeon and hires a black woman dressed in leather to step on his balls
and beat him, yeah.
And read to him, because see, smart black women are his kryptonite.
You know what? You're probably right.
So you can't tell me.
Yeah, I just got a picture.
Yep.
Yeah, I just got a picture.
Mm-hmm.
He wants Electra to be real, and he has found the real version of Electra. She's probably a black trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She wears little glasses, and reads while she puts her stiletto heel on his nuts.
Right, and she and I guess her degrees are like framed and in front of him to look at.
Yep.
Yeah, while he thanks Mistress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
Like, that just occurred to me, and I'm like, that's got to be a thing.
That makes complete sense.
Because,
that makes such, I can see it.
Because coming for the
ball
education.
Gag.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Ball gag, stand, yep. Stand on those balls and that little limp dick.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Coming for the...
Although it's probably not limp by the time
coming
it's all
for
that works.
The education.
This is all that works.
And qualifications of black women is his kink.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just explained it. That doesn't explain why he has a job. And the money, to procure said black trans woman to do that. But, good on her for getting her coin. I hope she charges him extra.
Oh,
I'm sure she does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's good. That's why he needs that money.
Right, exactly. He's got a habit to support.
Let's move on. Tucker Carlson is still a complete asshole. It's not news. It's not news, but that was fun.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Much appreciated.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, we have students suing a university after a women's golf coach allegedly outed her.
Yes,
to the entire team.
So unnamed female former student at Queen's University in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Fuck.
Yeah, she alleged that the women's golf coach outed her as a lesbian.
Can I just interrupt just to say, women's golf coach? I have questions. Go ahead.
I agree, and I wasn't gonna go there, but yeah,
I did.
But yeah, so apparently, in so doing, the student, she experienced all kinds of abuse,
humiliation, sexual harassment,
from her fellow
depression
students.
As a result. Imagine,
and so now she's suing, and I hope she wins her fucking case, because
she had not come out yet in 2018 when the team's coach allegedly began asking the team's members and athletic staff about her sexuality, telling them the plaintiff was gay.
Right. Like, who the fuck is you?
Oh, and the coach began stalking her partner's social media and outed her to the school's athletic director.
Mm-hmm.
After being outed, the student was allegedly humiliated, excluded by her team members.
Yep.
As a result, Yeah, she fell into a depression and insomnia and all the things we're quite familiar with, causing her grades to drop and her scholarships to be revoked.
Yep.
The lawsuit states. Now,
She's
the problem,
got a case. She's got a case.
Right. This is why we don't out people. This is why.
Right.
Because of the world we live in. Not because there's any shame in being a lesbian, nor should there be.
Right.
Not because this information about this person should be a problem at all, but it is.
Right.
In certain places, because of y'all, not because of us.
Right.
I mean, and not because of this young woman. And it sounds like a self-loathing lesbian outed her, but let's read on. She complained to the Title IX office. The office charged with ensuring equal treatment regardless of gender. It ruled that the golf team's coaching staff hadn't violated any school policies.
Yeah.
A university spokesperson said that the university takes all sexual harassment related allegations very seriously and has robust policies, procedures, reporting mechanisms, and training in place to address such issues. Well, except for this one.
Right.
However, the plaintiff alleges that the university didn't follow these procedures when handling her complaint. An additional year after the alleged outing, before placing the coach on administrative leave. That's a sentence that doesn't make sense. I'm reading from LGBTQ Nation, by the way. They waited an additional year before administrative leave. The coach, the athletic director, and the university's Title IX coordinator are all still employed.
Of course they are. 50%
of gay and lesbian athletes have been personally targeted by slurs. This is an international study in 2019. Anti-LGBTQ attitudes in sports found that 50% of gay and lesbian athletes have been personally targeted by slurs, bullying, threats, or assaults for playing on sports teams as an out athlete. This abuse caused 81% of gay men and 74% of lesbians to either fully or partially hide their sexual orientation while playing sports in order to avoid harassment from players and officials. And this coach had no right, but probably was rebuked at some point by this student. And yeah, that's my take on the whole thing.
Oh,
because the ones that go at us the hardest are the ones that want to fuck us.
Mm-hmm. Squeaky wheel.
Yeah. We're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about some pop culture.
Yes, pop culture palate cleanser.
We always try to bring it full circle to something fun and frivolous, and we'll do that after the break. Please stay with us.
Hey, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Amanda.
And this is A Nefarious Nightmare.
We cover true crime and the paranormal. We raise awareness about the senseless acts committed against victims. We won't go easy on the offenders, but show serious empathy to the victims.
And sometimes we dive into some weird topics outside of true crime, like the paranormal or even conspiracy theories.
Our listeners are definitely the best, and we are their biggest fans.
So join us. Come on in. All are welcome. Let's dive into these cases. You can find us on any podcast platform and on YouTube. Be sure to find us, hit subscribe, and share us with your friends.
We do have great life advice, such as don't be a Richard.
Yes. And wear deodorant. We don't want to smell you.
But all are welcome to A Nefarious Nightmare.
And we're back.
We're back.
They did stop cutting grass outside, I noticed.
Hallelujah.
I know, right? I don't think it'll come through on the audio, but
doubtful.
Yeah, because it wasn't that close. It was the field across the street from us, so
thankfully.
Kitty corner. Kitty corner. So I finished watching Better Things.
Yes. That was a fun little show.
Yeah. Well, it was recommended, the tenuous connection to the 100-Foot Journey, which I still highly recommend. It's a wonderful movie. Was the cooking, all the cooking that the main character.
Oh, yeah, in Better Things, yeah.
Does. Yeah, it's kind of her thing. Like, it's my thing. Like, she cooks.
Right.
And she cooks a lot. And, the more shit gets real, the more chopping and cooking. And, yeah.
Right.
So it was good. It ended well.
It did. I love their little like.
I love the end. I don't want to give it away,
asides.
but yeah, their asides are interesting. It's very real. It's certainly very real about the challenges of raising teenagers. It was fun. They're 23-minute episodes. It was a 5-year series originally on FX, now available on Hulu. I binged it a couple at a time. You know, I wound up loving Her Children, even though I hated a couple of them through most of it.
It took halfway through the last season for me to not hate the children anymore.
Yeah. It was originally Pamela Adlon.
Yes.
And Louis C.K. originally did create the series. He was removed himself fairly early on. And, you know, of course, she continued producing it and et cetera. And it's good. It's good. I liked it. I liked the ending. The ending was fun. Yeah. The ending was fun. They kind of broke the third wall or
fourth wall.
The fourth wall. They broke it anyway.
Whichever one that is.
For the end, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's a fun binge if you're looking for you know, smart, funny, real, and there's a lot of cooking. Yeah, she cooks with a lot of meat, which I don't do, but you know,
it is what it is.
I broke my own rule for my aunt. I cooked her ham, but she's my aunt. She's 83.
Right.
She can have whatever she wants.
Right.
And Hacks is back.
Yay!
I love Hacks. Hacks is on HBO.
It's such a good show.
Starring, why am I blanking?
Jean Smart.
Jean Smart, thank you. What a wonderful show. I love it. I love it. She's just a salty, I kind of want to say Joan Rivers-esque comedian, a woman who has absolutely forged her own path in comedy. You completely believe this woman is a comedian, and she's funny.
Yeah.
And it's a really good series. And it's back. There are 2 episodes so far. I think new episodes drop every Thursday.
Yes.
I'm excited because I was like sad when I lost, like, Julia's over for the season. There will be a season 2,
which is good. Yeah.
But yeah, Hacks is fun.
It is fun.
I love Hacks. I love Jean Smart.
Yeah,
I always have.
She's killing the game with that role.
Yeah. So that's it for our TV watching because it was a busy week.
Yeah, I have been listening to a lot of new music because
You're looking for the fave.
Well, I'd like to have a new 15-minute fave, and I know it's coming. But yeah, just a lot of good music has dropped. Like Tank and the Bangers' new album finally
they're so awesome.
Dropped. Red Balloon. I've been waiting for this album to drop for months and months because they do that thing that I love / hate where they'll like drop a single. Mm-hmm. And then it's all good. And then you're salivating for the rest of the album. And then like 3 months later, they'll drop another single. It's like, oh, don't tell me that it's coming if you're not going to give it to me. But no, it's really good from top to bottom. It's a beautiful album. And
nice.
And it's funny. I realized so last week when I had my little pull your pants up and get off my lawn moment talking about rap and hip hop, I realized since I'm a fucking liar because I realized how much hip hop do I listen to on the regular, and I didn't notice it until I made this declaration. Like
You are old though, and that's where it comes from.
Fuck you.
That's accompanied by forgetfulness.
Yeah. Fuck you again. But I realized how excited I was that Kendrick Lamar's new album was coming out, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, excuse me. And I gave it a listen while I was doing the dishes in the morning, which is when I have time to listen to music. And you know, I forgot to mention Pulitzer Prize award-winning Kendrick Lamar. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this new album is just like his others in that, you know, I say he's not so much a rapper as he uses rap as the delivery system for his thoughts. Because his music it's different. Like the way he uses melodies and the way he uses poetry and wordplay, it's deep. It's different.
Okay.
And we got to the song Anti-Diaries. And, I always assume that every rapper is misogynistic and homophobic and transphobic because, there ain't a lot of evidence to prove me wrong. But I was kind of hoping that Kendrick, was a little different. And he did give me a little moment in the song Anti-Diaries. He talks about two members of his family, an aunt and a cousin.
Badly. But God.
That transitioned. And he actually speaks of them in a supporting way in the songs.
Ish. Good.
Like he says, my auntie is a man now. And he talks about how, he always accepted that. But here's the interesting part. So he talks about his auntie, and then as he goes through the verses, he switches the pronouns. So he starts referring to he, and my auntie is the uncle, and uses the proper pronouns when referring to that person throughout the rest of the time that he's singing in the song. Then he talks about his cousin. Demetrius is Marianne now. He's more confident to live his plan now, but the family in disbelief this time, convincing themselves, see, he ain't living discreet, he's fine. He goes on this whole thing about, we all knew, but, we grew up homophobic, faggot. We ain't know no better, middle school kids with no filter. But see, unlike when he talks about his aunt transitioning and changes the pronouns, he never changes the pronouns when talking about Demetrius as Marianne, which was a little disappointing because it's like it's Kendrick Lamar. He don't do shit for no reason. And then the part that was really interesting, he makes mention of the show last year, a couple years ago, when he invited a white girl up on stage to rap along with him, and everything was cool till she said the N-word, and then he had to stop her. And then it became this whole thing of like, who gets to say what, and like you knew the situation when you brought her on stage, and blah 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 blah. So the last thing he says in the song, faggot, we can say it together, but only if you let a white girl say the N-word. And I'm like, okay, I think I understand what you're saying, but no, that's not how that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Keep us out your mouth.
That's the thing. It's like you didn't.
If I'm supposed to be thankful for this bullshit, I'm not.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, okay,
sorry, I'm not.
Well, he didn't bring the point all the way home, so you can't end giving me allyship blue balls.
I appreciate your epiphany, but you still did say that throughout the song, didn't you? You didn't call it the F word. You didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah, we didn't learn. We didn't learn no lessons by the end. Well, not all of them anyway.
I remember sitting at our bar with an older white patron spewing the F word. And I said, that is the other word we do not use here. So I've always used it. I don't mean anything by it. And I said,
do I?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't ask you what you meant.
Right.
I asked you not to use it in my establishment. And that should be enough for you. And he said, why? And I said, well, friend, for one thing, it's the last word my people hear when your people put our teeth to the curb. Is that enough for you?
It was.
It was, yeah, he stopped using it.
We got into so many clashes with people over not saying those two words.
Yeah, and it was just those two words. You can say fuck all day long. You can say a lot of things all day long. Not those two.
Yeah.
Not those two.
It's not asking. I'm not saying, eliminate it from your vocabulary out in the world, just in these four walls.
Yeah. Well, we don't use those two in conversation. And the times that we had to confront it were insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Because my whole thing was...
the number of times, excuse me.
I would like to have one space on this planet where I don't have to hear the N-word. One space.
Right. Exactly.
And God damn it, it's going to be this one.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be the one where I clean the bathrooms.
Thank you.
Stop it. Yeah.
But yeah. So
I can't. I mean, does he sort of land in a place of enlightenment? I guess. Do I want to hear little kids singing along with this shit? I do not.
Well, that's the other thing.
If you are straight, I never want to hear the F word out your mouth. Right. Never. I don't.
Yeah.
And if you ain't black, I never want to hear the N word out your mouth.
Right.
Period. And no, Latinx doesn't count.
Thank you.
It doesn't count unless you happen to be both black and Latin.
Right.
No, not you either. Because we had that.
Yeah, we did.
We had that.
Right.
Oh.
Negro adjacency is not enough.
It's not. No, child. Because, if adjacency mattered, I'm black by injection. I'm not.
Right.
I know this.
Right.
I am paper white. So, yeah, no.
But yeah, so, I still am a fan of Kendrick and his music. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
he came close to making a really good point. And it was more, that's the sad part. It was more in line of allyship towards trans people than I've ever heard.
Well, it was a hell of a lot better than Chappelle.
Right.
Lot fucking better than that nonsense.
But that just means that the bar is in hell.
It kind of is. I still feel like he doesn't have enough queer friends. Because or any trans friends. And apparently didn't run this by the family members. I'm guessing.
I don't know.
Because I would hope that they would have pointed out the what is problematic here. But what do I know? I'm
curious to see what he says next, because I know like LGBTQ Nation has already put an article out about it, and I know he's going to get asked about it. I'm curious to see what comes next, because that's really going to determine.
I am too. His response.
Yeah.
Will be telling his response to criticism, and there is, and it's all over Twitter, and when actual trans people and actual queer people are speaking up, are you listening? Are you hearing it?
Right.
So go ahead and talk about why you thought it was okay to do this and why I'm going to have to hear these lyrics repeated. Go ahead and explain it. Go ahead.
And that's the thing, because the album as a whole,
because I don't think it, I don't think it was meant to be mean-spirited, but those are always
right.
Problematic words. Yes, they are.
The album as a whole is very good. It's about, grieving and processing trauma. And, especially now that he's successful and monetarily wealthy, but, family trauma is still a thing. Getting over past traumas is still a thing, no matter how much money you have. And like, how do you get through things, and it's an interesting album. I do recommend it. That's just that one song that I was like, we're doing that.
Yeah. And
okay. All right.
That tired argument that the marginalized should not use the words they don't want used. Fuck off.
Right.
Just fuck off. If it hasn't been used to pummel you, no, keep it at your mouth.
Right.
Keep it at your mouth.
Right.
Same thing with, the entire trans conversation and Dave Chappelle. Keep us out of your mouth.
Right.
That's all you got to do. That's actually all you need to do.
Right.
And kind of the same with Kendrick Lamar. I'm sorry, but kind of the same. Just you'd be fine if you just kept us out your mouth. And you don't have an auntie. You have an uncle.
Right. And he does make that distinction.
Yeah, eventually. But, that's not how we tell our story. So fuck you. Because you have appropriated the right to tell other people's stories in a way that works for you, in some misbegotten way that you think is going to help us. Maybe ask us. I just had this. I just had this conversation with a woman that I very much appreciate. I'm not going to give details because her identity really does not matter. But, she had posted something on Facebook, and she posted a picture of a couple on the beach. Man without a shirt and, swim trunks and a woman in a bikini against this paradise background of paradise and the oceans behind them, or the Caribbean Sea or something. It was blue. And she said, "What do you see?" And it took 4 or 5 comments for someone to say, "A chick with a dick." Because, in fact, and I knew what I was looking at, this was a trans couple that have recently had a child. And her intent, she had seen them their pictures be circulated in a very right-wing, very transphobic, hateful way. And it got her so upset, she was trying to do something. And this was like some social experiment on our behalf. And, she listened to me, and I'm thankful for that, because, what I said on Facebook became a private conversation. But I was just like, if you're trolling for transphobic comments, they're showing up right on time. I was not addressing the person that said a chick with a dick. I was addressing my friend who posted this, attempting allyship. And I'm like, do we need allies? Absolutely. Is this that? It isn't.
Right.
It isn't. It's not. It's ultimately not useful. And we have lots and lots of trans folks who don't pass traditionally, as this couple does. This is an attractive young couple. And just looking at them, there's really not an indication that they are trans unless you happen to spend a lot of time with trans people, which I do. Right. I knew I knew that they were a trans couple, but they were a beautiful couple enjoying the beach. And that's initially what I said. I said, I see 2 people enjoying the beach.
Right.
One of my other friends said, I see 2 people doing what I wish I was doing right now. So by and large, the comments were positive until that.
Right.
And she said, well, I was going to get around to, like the big reveal, because that's what we are. And to challenge the assumptions that people hold. And I'm like, yes. And if a trans couple walk around and are misgendered all day long by everyone, that doesn't change their gender identity. That doesn't change the way that they walk around in the world. And this doesn't help them.
Nope.
At all. She took it down. We had a great discussion. But, if Kendrick was my friend, I think we would have had a similar discussion the second I heard this shit. You know what? You're not helping. Sorry, you're not helping. Like, I appreciate your epiphany. I don't like how you got there. And all the little kids that are going to walk around singing your lyrics that I'm going to want to smack. Wow. We could have avoided all of that. We could have, but we didn't. So here we are. There's my take.
Okay, then.
Mommy has a bit of a headache now, so I think it's time to wrap up this episode. Join us wherever podcasts are sold. If you've gotten this far, we love you. We thank you.
We do.
And we appreciate you. Yeah, that's just it. That's just where I am. Anyway, we have things to do. You have yet another show to run in a new venue.
Yes.
Venice Island.
Yes.
That's one. We've actually found a theater you have not worked in.
I know.
How cool is that? So you should probably get there a little early.
Yes.
For the lay of the land.
So in the meantime, in between time, please visit our social media and like and follow and subscribe and rate and review and 5 stars and all that good stuff, because we love it. And if we get when we're racking up the 5-star reviews, we'll read them on the show once we get enough to
warrant thus.
Exactly.
Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. So I am in conversation with Garden State Equality, Christian, who is the executive director, and we are going to do a podcast really outlining the education law, the LGBTQ plus education law in New Jersey, how it's working, how it's being applied, what the rest of us can do to support that. And, it's just solidly good news in the state that we live in, and I have said I want to learn more, and we are going to do that. So that is going to happen.
Yay.
I'm putting together the show outline now.
Yay.
And We do have. I'm not gonna say her name just yet. But we have a confirmed interview that we'll be conducting on the 25th. With a really important trans author who has a new book coming out tomorrow. Woo-hoo. And I'm so excited by this interview. And I'm reading the book right now, and it's terrific. It's terrific. So please stay tuned and stick with us. And we have so much more to offer you.
We do.
I am Martha Madrigal.
And I am Charles Tyson Jr.
Thank you for listening to Full Circle,
the podcast. Take care, y'all. Full Circle is a Never Scared Productions podcast, hosted by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal, produced and edited by Never Scared, executive produced by Charles Tyson Jr. and Martha Madrigal. Our theme and music is by the Jingleberries. All names, pictures, audio, and video clips are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective copyright holders.